Women of Reddit, what do you think would be the worst thing about being a man? Having to be the person physically in charge in a threatening situation. Like always being with a man when walking home from a party in a sketchy area at night. Yes, there is safety in numbers, but the dude is expected to be protective regardless of level of awareness, self-defensive, or drunkenness. That's a lot of pressure. People expecting that I could fight. Probably being forced to never, well, feel. There are so many people who make fun of guys for having feelings or even showing them. I would never be able to deal with it, and my heart broke the day my boyfriend told me his exes used to verbally abuse him for crying in front them. Edit, changed words because I don't wanna make a personal generalization. PT 2. I didn't think this would blow up so fast. I've taken the afternoon into the evening reading every single one of your guys' replies, and I am genuinely devastated by some of the things I'm reading. Men, I am so sorry. Words kind of fail me right now, because I don't know what to say to any of you. What I want to say, though, is that you are all incredibly strong human beings. And you are that, a human being. With thoughts, feelings, emotions, and dreams. Your feelings are valid. You all deserve to feel and to be seen, heard, and cared for as a human being. No one would bat an eye if you said you were sexual assaulted or harassed. Edit, thank you for the silvers, whomever gave it to me. Edit, I see that two people didn't understand what I meant, so to be more specific, if you were a male, and you were a victim of sexual harassment or you were a victim of sexual assault and you went to go tell someone what happened to you, chances are that you will be ignored because society stereotypes think you're just lying and all males like being touched. Which is horseshit. With all the news articles I see about women being raped, I ask myself, what about the males? Sexual assault doesn't have a gender, it should be taken seriously for both genders. Probably the stigma. I've seen a single father get shouted at for being with his kid when at a park for trying to kidnap children. The dude wanted to make his son happy, not molest him. FFS. I would think it would be being expected to do all the heavy lifting. To me, as a 64-year-old woman, I do my best to move things on my own. If I must ask for help, I make sure my helpers are well compensated with cold tasty beverages and snacks, food. Just because you're a male doesn't mean it's your legacy to be a physical workhorse. Having an even harsher reaction when I'd go against gender roles. I mean, as a woman, there's backlash sometimes, but there's a whole movement very publicized that tells me that I can do whatever I want, and fuck the naysayer. I don't feel a man that would want to do something for girls, or for women, as that much support. Being abused in public by a woman and having people laugh instead of intervening to help you. Also the whole to be a man you have to act a certain way. Brutal. Hands down always being the villain. A colleague of mine was a bit on the heavier side, but decided to get into shape and started jogging. So he jogs around his block daily until his smart watch tells him his quota for the day is full. That day he was a bit late but went for a jog when the sun was setting. Not many people out there, but as he was on his way, some girls saw him jogging their way, got scared and called the cops on him for obviously trying to chase them to rape them or something. Now, the guy didn't know about the call, he just sees two girls seeing him coming, turning around and running away, and he's like, what the fuck, until the cops come for him. You know, for the biggest offense in the whole human history, trying to get fit. I felt really bad for him. Being called creepy if I don't look the best or if I try to get a girl. Oh, you got stuck taking care of the kids today, huh? Giving mom a day off, finally? Dads know what I'm talking about. Edit, well, that blew up. Glad to see I'm not crazy. It's interesting to see the scattered few people say, OMG, people don't actually talk like that, and then see hundreds of other folks confirm that, yeah, people do say that shit. Being a father of a daughter or even babysitting. The complete mistrust that people give them is astonishing. If she starts throwing a tantrum in public, people always assume the worst. I would want my daughter to give my husband hugs and love him the same as she would love me in public, but people just view it differently. Edit, yes, I am in the US. This is not a new concept, nor is it just located here but also in other countries. From other stories down below. This was happening at least 20 years ago when it happened to my dad too. Everyone should love their kids, and we do need strong male role models. I am so happy for all the love that people are throwing around about their kids. Brag away. Even if this judgment does happen, you are a good father and nothing anyone else does will change that. Emotional unavailability of others. As a woman, I definitely face a lot of hardships that men don't have to deal with. But when I'm at my point of breaking, sobbing and inconsolable, I know I can message one of my friends, usually one of the girls, and cry and bitch to them about it, and they will listen to me and really connect with me. They will tell me how shitty the person who did that is, how difficult it must be to deal with, how strong I am for persevering in the face of adversity. On the other hand, I've spent my life trying to be a non-judgmental source of venting for my male friends, and I've found that basically everyone who I'm like that with ends up either thinking I'm into them romantically, or expressing how grateful they are for something they get so little of. Guys are told to just suck it up and push their emotions down, and I think it is harmful to all of us. The constant pressure in society that the man has to pay for meals, drinks, etc. I feel like it all would add up really quickly. Only one orgasm at a time. My brother was allowed to do a lot of things I wasn't, like explore the train tunnels and go hunting. I once envied that, but now I see it differently. Men aren't protected. From abusive women, from sexual assault, from dangerous jobs, from military service, from having custody of children taken from them, etc. Most women think there's nothing wrong with being abusive and cruel with men. It's so upsetting watching women treat men like absolute shit. To top it off, men are expected to still act like a gentleman, and also they're not allowed to feel vulnerable, or to feel sad, angry because some lady was just a little sassy, when in reality she was being abusive piece of shit. Edit, I'm a woman, not a heartbroken dude. Thanks for your concern lol. Also, it has come to my attention that I didn't get my point across very well. By most women, I mean most women I know. I don't claim to know what most women think, I'm just talking from my experience. I've also been cruel to men, it's just too ingrained in our culture that being mean to men is acceptable. It isn't. We cannot expect to have an equal society if we don't treat men respect, tolerance and kindness. Thinking that you can treat men like shit just because they're men is sexist, and we shouldn't tolerate it. We are responsible for creating the world we want to live in. Hope I explained myself better. Have a nice day. Less than 3. I'd be afraid to be a male teacher. How easy would it be to give a girl student a grade, a failing grade they deserve, or just pissing them off any kind of way, but it's a crazy one who ends up accusing you of something awful? While that's specific, it's a general fear. Just the accusation itself will cost you your career. Being in a crowded urinal. Everyone has the dicks out standing next to each other. Like what the fuck, just make stalls, why have them in the open? Edit, okay, I wanna be clear, IECT, y'all don't stare at each other dicks, or that you stand next together unless necessary. I meant that going at a crowded place and needing to peeing and just try to look straight forward and ignore the dudes near you. The constant insecurity of whether you're man enough. Feeling uncomfortable or shame for showing your emotions. It's a sad truth, but since the dawn of time, men have been encouraged to live up to the expectations of having to be tough or being a rock for the family. As a woman, I think we feel more comfortable crying and expressing our sadness. Men get sad too, and it's about time they feel free to express it as easily as women do. Not having your emotions taken seriously, then lashing out because of it, and then seen as violent because you just want to be understood. I had that with abusive parents, but normally people don't treat me that way because I'm a woman. I can't imagine what an entire life of not having your feelings acknowledged in a healthy way feels like. Suck it up and be a man. Being expected to be the breadwinner, generally by society, being less likely to gain custody of my own kids in a separation, being disposable in times of warty, and having to deal with my own balls. What if I sat on one? Ouch. You're the ones who have to kill the big hairy spider. I would be terrified of my dick getting stuck in a zipper. Being considered a possible threat by strangers, probably. Like, I get it, you never know, but it would probably suck, either that or the dick and balls. Like, they're just dangling there. Are they in the way? How do you straddle stuff? Will you accidentally squish them? Do you have to like, tuck them into your underwear? Not being able to take care of children without getting dirty looks. I would not be allowed a moment of weakness. Bad day. You can't cry unless your mother just died. Hurt yourself? Suck it up and go to the hospital. Feeling self-conscious about your body? Nobody cares. Feeling ill? Someone has a man cold. I cannot fathom how a guy sits down to poop and their junk is what, just chilling inside the toilet? Do you lift them and rest them on the toilet seat? I have no idea how dudes do it. Do you get backsplash on your ball sack? I ask these questions to my boyfriend. I'm convinced he thinks I'm a lunatic, but I just think balls would be incredibly inconvenient. Honestly, probably people just assuming that you'll do all of the gross shit that no one else wants to do, fixing up the car? Unclogging the toilet? Cleaning out the spider webs in the attic? Scrubbing the mildew out of the bathtub? Guys are just expected to do it all without complaint because that's the manly thing to do. As a woman, I find it pretty unfair, alongside that are hiding a boner, people assuming that you can't have mental illnesses, disorders, not being allowed to cry, show emotions, be insecure about your body. All of it is really unfair, I'm sorry guys. Being expected to be more effective at physical labor, being expected to do more dangerous work, receiving less empathy when struggling with emotional issues. Being arrested for defending myself against an abusive partner. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.